I'm Mark Pitchers, wader wearing, tea drinking, beard trimming, carp freak. I've been an angler for over 30 years and I've caught carp from waters far and wide, big and small. For me, it doesn't matter where, as long as the challenge is exciting and inspiring. But now the tables have turned and it's over to you, the public, to assign my next mission on Fox's Facebook page.
It's not exactly the easiest challenge, is it?
Rivers and lakes, rigs and baits.
You fell to the cat meat.
There's been a number of incredibly tough challenges during this series. Have you been drinking de-icer again? Some of which I've knocked out the park.
Challenge completed.
Others have dealt me a devastating blow. But I'm still here and ready to pick up any gauntlet that is thrown down. This carp freak is not giving up without a fight. This is the challenge.
What's up, carp freaks? It's challenge time again. This is challenge number 12. Once again, you wrote in your hundreds with your ideas and suggestions, but the one Harry and Lewis went for came in from Henrik Johnson, and it's called Challenge Abracadacurate. That's a challenge, just saying that. Anyway, Henrik goes on to say, Mark must, within 48 hours and fishing venue or venues of his choosing, catch a total of 130 pounds of carp. To prevent Mark from being cheeky and putting himself on a match venue for the entire challenge, as if I would, 2 of the carp caught must weigh in at 25 pound plus. But Mark cannot simply pass the 130 pound limit by such a wide margin. To pass the challenge, the total weight must not exceed 135 pounds. Once Mark passes 70 pounds, should he make it that far, Harry has the option, only the option, Harry, to take 3 items from Mark, since he obviously must be cheating. Now that's a tricky one, but I have got a game plan, which I will tell you about later. But I am here at Newlands Hall Fishery in Essex. I've never been here before, but I'm told it's a really good venue for catching a few fish, which will allow me to get a bit of weight under my belt and get the challenge up and running. So let's get cracking, because time is really against us. Well, this is the swim that I've chosen, and the reason I've chosen this particular area is it does present me with quite a lot of options. I've got this island here, and on the end of that is a big snag tree, which I'm sure will hold fish. Also got a nice bit of open water out there in front of me, and earlier on when the ripple wasn't there, there was a few fish fizzing away in open water. So initially, my plan is to fish around the island and near that snaggy tree, just with solid PVA bags. I don't feel like I'm going to need to introduce any bait, because I would hope the fish would likely already be there. And while I'm fishing that area, I'm going to find some sort of open water spot out there and trickle in a little bit of bait and hopefully build that up as the day goes on. If none of that works, we're quite lucky today that there's only a couple of other anglers on the lake. I'm only travelling light, so I have got the option to move pretty quickly. So we're just going to have to really suck it and see what happens. Oh, you're so immature. Well, I'm almost set up, ready to make a couple of casts. Unusually for me, I've come rather well prepared. I sat at home for many hours tying up loads of ready tied rigs. I don't think I've ever been this prepared in my life. I look like a proper matchman. In fact, I'm expecting Rob Hughes to ring me any moment asking me to join the England team, because we all know that's the only qualification you need to have to get in the England team, Harry. Maybe. bit
Carry
much.
on.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Right,
Carry on.
okay. So, this is the setup I'm going to be using. I've got here one of the new Impact inline leads. And as you can see, the swivel, the hook link exits from the centre of the lead. That means when the fish tightens that hook link and feels the weight of the lead, it feels the full force of that lead. And that really does dramatically improve the hooking properties of the rig. Also, the size and the shape fits perfectly inside a small solid PVA bag, which I'm about to tie up in a moment. The hook link is £25 reflex camo braid. I've got a small hook link sinker on there just to keep it pinned down. And coming down from that, we have one of the new Edges wide gape beat point hooks. That's a size 6 barbless, and I've got a micro liner sleeve over there just to help the hook turn and improve the hooking properties of the rig. I have a small piece of fine hook silicone on the shank to trap the hair in place and also create a bit of a blowback effect. Then the hook bait I'm using there is a pink Northern Special wafter. So that's that. Let's get it inside a solid PVA bag and get it out there. Well, while I was tied up that marker elastic, I just felt the rod go in my hand, and I'm playing something. Literally, just as I finished tying that marker elastic, it just went in my hand. Is it a carp? It is a carp. It's not a big carp, but I don't care. Come here. It's a start, isn't it? Yeah, we're up and running. That was quick, wasn't it? Tie up another PVA bag and get it straight back out on that spot. Yeah, the PVA hasn't even had a chance to dissolve. Well, it's been in the water less than a minute, and I'm playing a fish, but it isn't very big. Oh. Bags are not the one.
Oh, you landed it.
I've landed it. Yeah, no, that wasn't the lead going over the landing net. I need to make a change, don't I? But I've caught another one. I've put another 5-6 ounces on the scoreboard. 3.5 pound. Yeah. Just check his fins are tucked in against his body. There you go. Alright, I'll just Probably best to support him in it. There we go. Why are you laughing? 14. 14.
14?
Yeah. 14 ounces. Well, I think it's quite clear that the tactics I'm using aren't really the right ones. I've had 2 fish in 2 casts. First fish came as the rod was still in my hands. This one was just probably a minute after casting out. And although it is quite nice to be catching fish the size I've had, it's going to take a lot of fish to build up any sort of weight. It's clear that they've obviously had a couple of years of successful spawnings in here, and the bailiff did warn me there is quite a lot of small fish in at the moment. I'm going to need bigger fish to build that weight up, and I'm told there is a lot of low double figure carp in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to slip this little fellow back and I'm going to have a change of tactics. Now, I know I say this every single time, but I genuinely believe this is my toughest challenge to date. First of all, I've got to catch 130 pound of fish, which is more fish than I've caught in one session in quite a long time. And then I have to catch 2 fish over 25 pound, when in the history of the challenge, I've only caught 2 fish over 25 pound in all the challenges I've done. And then obviously I've got such a narrow margin. If I go over that weight, over the 130 pound weight by 6 pounds, then it's a fail. So yeah, it is tricky, but I have got a game plan. I always come into these with a game plan, and this time's no exception. Today, I want to try and build up as much weight as I possibly can, because I think the real tough one here is getting those 2 fish of 25 pound plus, and that is what I want to devote most of my time to in this challenge. So I do have another water in mind. It's about half an hour from here, so I'm going to give it till late afternoon here, and regardless of what's happened, I need to then be on this next water trying to bag those 2 fish of 25 pound plus. I just had a change of tactics and had to wait a little bit longer for a bite this time. Probably waited, I don't know, 3 minutes for a bite. And it is a bit bigger. It is a bit bigger. It's not that sort of low double I was kind of hoping to get, but it's definitely bigger. And it's definitely an encouraging sign after that quick change of tactics. Yes, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Oh! $6.11. Here we are. This is the biggest fish I've caught so far. 6 pound, 11 ounces, and it came about after a change of tactics. I ditched the PVA bags in favour of a out-and-out boilie approach, and this fell to a snowman hook bait up against the island still, and I've just been catapulting baits over the top of each rod, just one at a time, so they make a nice little plop sound, and it's almost like ringing a dinner bell, I guess, and I'm hoping the fish are attracted by that sound and homing in on the loose feed. And it certainly works, because this bite came as I was catapulting baits over the top of the rod. And hopefully it's a sign of things to come and a step in the right direction. Well, this one feels a bit bigger. It's either bigger or just angrier. taken to back winding after watching you. Yeah. Trying to pick up the match fishing tips for when I make the squad. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Oh. But being a, you know, an international of the future, I'll just shrug that off. It's all right, these things happen. I can deal with that, Rob. I can deal with these sort of things. Pressure won't get to me. Dear me. Dear me. It was the biggest one yet. It was the biggest one yet. Probably a double, that one. Well, I've just switched over to the open water spot. I've been getting plenty of bites up against the island, but they've been smaller fish. This has been my first cast over at the open water spot, and yeah, it has done the biggest fish of the day, without a doubt. Well, this is the first fish I've caught from the open water spot I've been baiting. The rod had only been in the water a matter of minutes, and it's the biggest fish of the session so far. Just under double figures, which puts me over £30 now, which isn't too bad considering I felt like I wasted a bit of time this morning catching those smaller fish. But hopefully that open water spot will continue to produce them bigger fish, and yeah, get me a little bit more weight, which I feel like I desperately need. Well, this is the setup I've switched over to, which has produced those slightly better fish. It's the same impact inline lead and exactly the same hooking arrangement as well. The slight change is the hook link. That's now £25 Camotex semi-stiff, and the hook bait is a nice little snowman setup. I've got a tuna bottom bait there topped off with a Northern Special pop-up. And yeah, so far so good. Angry male common. I reckon when I hold it, it'll have its dorsal fin aloft. Oh, this one's away as well. Double bubble. The open water rod's away. Well, I'm just playing one fish, and the open water rod is away as well. Oh, that's a slightly bigger fish. I'm not sure if, yep, the open water rod is still on there. I can see the tip bouncing away. When it's like this, it's important just like not to panic, because what can happen is if you start rushing yourself and whatever, you usually find you end up landing neither of them. You rush the one you're playing, you give it a bit too much, that comes off, and you pick up the other rod and that one's come off as well, so. Oh, that's a bit bigger. Right. he's in. That's a better fish. Margins here are quite deep, so he's fine there. Can leave him in the margins. Hopefully this one's still on. Yes, it is. And it feels a better fish as well. If I can land both of these, that'll be a right result. Come on, right, this time. Yes! You know what we've got here? Double bubble. Oh, look at that. Yes, now we're rocking. Yeah, they're probably the two biggest fish I've caught so far. 11.15. That's the biggest fish of the day. Here's the smaller of that double bubble brace, just under £10. I haven't done the pounds and ounces, but I think that takes me to around £45, which I'm quite happy about. I feel like I've got a little bit of momentum now, and if I can carry on, I think that will keep this challenge very much alive. Well, I feel as though time is slipping away on here. I really can't afford to give it much longer at all if I'm to make it to the next venue and get set up before nightfall. So I think I'm going to give it another five minutes, and that's it. We need to be on the road. I would have liked more weight on the scoreboard, but it's the next water where I am going to have to concentrate most of my efforts. Solid bag, eh? Well, I hadn't had a bite in quite a while. I was getting a little bit concerned, and I've gone back over onto a solid bag just to try and nick a bite. I'm not bothered if it's a small fish or not. I just wanted to put a little bit of weight on the scoreboard, and the bag was only in the water less than a minute, and yeah, we've got another one. I want to leave here with £50.
What are you on at the moment?
I don't know. I was just about to add it up. There. Right, come on. Yes. Right, what have we got here? That's a few more pound to add on, but we really do need to get a move on now. It's later than I would have liked to have been leaving, but I'm not going to mess about. We're going to get this fella weighed, get reeled in, and head off to the next venue. £5 5 ounces to add on. I had £10 more than I thought, which, yeah, I'm actually quite happy with that. So just under £60 I'm on. So obviously I need £70. £70 including two
25-pounders.
Yeah. No, I'm happy with that. Another £10 would have been better, but no, I'm okay. Right, let's get a move on. So here we are at our second venue. This is a syndicate water where I've been a member of for nearly 10 years now, although I haven't actually fished it for a couple of seasons now. It's around 10-12 acres in size with roughly 100 carp in it. So it's by no means easy, but the majority of the stock are 25 pound plus. So should we be lucky enough to catch a couple of fish, then there's a very good chance that they will be over that magic 25 pound I need to pass this challenge. Now, the best thing about this lake for me is the fact you can drive all the way around it and park behind most of the swims. Light is fading rapidly. We've got about 20 minutes of daylight left. I'm going to do a very quick 60-mile-an-hour lap. Hopefully I'll be able to find a fish or two, but if not, I'm going to have to go on a hunch. So are you ready, Harry? We've got to get cracking.
Let's go.
Let's go. Well, I had a quick scout around the lake, didn't see anything. So I've jumped in this swim on the end of this fresh southeasterly wind. This is an area I have fished quite a few times in the past and it has served me well. And I'm very familiar with the spots out here. All I've done, I just cast out my marker float onto a spot that used to produce fish for me. Just to double check it was indeed still there, which it was. So I've just popped up the float on that spot and I'm just sticking a few baits out just while there's enough light left for me to see where they're going, really. Last night was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? Tea will make it better. Actually, I just remembered something. Right, you sat down, that's good, because you'll need to be for what I'm about to reveal. Right, compose yourself, because you are about to lose your shiz when you see what I've got.
What are you on about?
You ready?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I've just seen it myself. Right, you ready?
Yes.
Look at that! Oh my God. That, now that is a tea tin. Behold. Look at that! Get a close up of it. Look at that. That's epic, isn't it? That's a tea tin. Tins are the most carpy receptacle there is. Everything should be in a tin.
Yeah?
Tackle box, nah, get it in a tin. Rucksack, nah, just a massive tin. Everything. It's, just look at it. Oh, it's got a matching box. It's got tea bags in it as well. It's not just an empty tin, it's actually got tea bags in it. Don't know what they taste like, I've never had them before. I just got it for the tin. It's a Betty's tea tin.
I can see that.
Well, I think it looks rustic. It looks like something that would come out of Tutankhamun's tomb.
No, it
Yes,
doesn't.
it does. It's all gold and stuff.
You reckon Tutankhamun drank Betty's tea?
No, but like the box, the tin, it's like, I don't know, it looks like a prop from Raiders of the Lost Ark or something. It just looks like oldie and it's wasted on you. I knew I shouldn't. I don't know why I bother. I don't know why I bother, it's just wasted. I think it was about a tenner.
For that?
It's worth its weight in gold, look at it. But it is gold. It's a gold tin. You can't put a price on that. Well, I think it was $9.99, but other than... Right, you ready? Yeah, that is the one.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. Yeah, that is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is good.
It is good.
Yeah. I feel happy now. What?
Your eyes.
It's that wasp. I think it's fair to say that other than having a rather exceptional brew, it's been something of a failure on here. I've certainly not seen any numbers of fish. I've seen one fish show this morning, but it wasn't anywhere near where I was fishing. And I've not really received any indications or anything to suggest that there are fish in this area. Location is a massive factor anywhere, but on a water such as this, where there is less than 10 fish per acre, then obviously it becomes crucial. And I do think that you do get just a few groups of fish held up in quite isolated areas, and then just the odd straggler here and there. So you really do need to find one of them groups of fish. There is an angler round the other end of the lake towards the back of the winds, and he's had a fish this morning. And it would suggest that there are fish up there at the opposite end of the lake on the back of the wind. I mean, arriving here when we did, just as it was getting dark, it wasn't ideal. The fish in here rarely show themselves anyway. So to arrive when we did, we obviously didn't really have a great deal of time to walk around and look for signs of feeding fish or showing fish. And it looks like, you know, going on my hunch, it hasn't paid off, has it? Let's face it. So I'm going to finish this brew, have a little bit of a sort of mini pack down. I'm going to give it another hour until I feel that bite time has passed. And if nothing's happened, then we're going to be moving. Simple as that. Well, here we are at the opposite end of the lake on the back of the wind, and as you can probably see behind me, it is pretty weedy up here. Now at the moment I'm just trying to find a clear area for me to present a rig efficiently and effectively. I have managed to find one very small
spot at about 80-yard range up against an island where it is gravel, but all around it is fairly thick Canadian pondweed and blanket weed. Really tough. But what I'm doing here, casting around with the new feature finding lead. Now, if I was casting a bare, plain coated lead over that spot, you don't always get a true reading of what exactly is down there. You could be fooled into thinking that when you pull the lead back and it's nice and smooth, you could be fooled into thinking that it's silt or something clear, when in fact it could actually just be sliding over a blanket weed. And also, if you do find a gravel patch and you feel the odd little tap tap, you may mistake that lead tucking into a bit of weed and then pulling free. You may just mistake that as another bump on the gravel, whereas with this lead, as soon as this comes into contact with anything, any weed, it will anchor in. So there's no mistaking whether it's clean gravel or it is weed. Pulling it over clean gravel, it will bump around exactly the same as a plain lead, but as soon as it comes into contact with anything, weed or leaves, it will bed in and you'll know about it. And also, it kind of acts as a bit of a weed clearer as well. The more casts I'm making out there, I'm pulling back balls of weed, some of them about the size of footballs. So I am actually clearing the spot as well as I'm going along. But I've just found that one very small spot. It's enough to get one rod on it, and that's as far as I've got so far, but I'll keep going. Well, I've just finished having a lead around, and the spot I found is very, very small. It's not much bigger than like a bin lid. All around it is just weed top to bottom. Now, I've only got one night left of this challenge, and at the moment it's not looking great, is it? So I really do want to maximise my chances in the short time we have left, and make sure I'm fishing as efficiently as possible. Now, boats are permitted on here, rowing boats, and I think I'd be a fool not to take advantage of the fact there is a boat in the swim. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to row out, find that clear spot with the boat that I found with the lead, and then I'm going to drop my rig over the top of that and bait up by hand. That way I'll be fishing on a nice tight small area of gravel underneath the canopy of trees over there. I've just seen a fish go over the weed. Yes, I'll be fishing nice and tight and effectively and as efficiently as I can. So let's get afloat. Always remember to wear a life jacket if you are going out in a boat. Likewise, if you're climbing trees, always wear a parachute. Come on. Well, that's the rods on lockdown. They are going nowhere. I'm fishing with the tips up quite high here. There's a lot of floating weed, so I've got the tips up to keep as much line off the water as I possibly can. Not using any butt rests, but because the rods are up like that, should we get a take, the alarm will kind of act as like a pivot and we'll have a bit of a seesaw effect. So I've got a bivvy peg wedged in there, jammed the butt section in, and obviously that stops it from lifting up. So that's really locked in tight, that. And I do feel like I've got a spring in my step. I've had a new lease of life. I've just been out in the boat to try and find some spots, and there was two areas in particular that I found. There was one spot, just a clear area in amongst the weed. The water was quite coloured as I approached it, and as I sort of approached that coloured water, I could see there was 10 or a dozen fish swimming around in that sort of murky water. Then there was another spot where there was probably half a dozen fish as well, and that actually is a high percentage of the stock. So I managed to get 2 rods dropped in position with Harry's help actually. He held the rods and kept them up, kept the lines up off the weed, and kept a tight line as I went out there, and I was able to drop 2 rigs absolutely perfect. So I was quite surprised. Thank you, Harry, for that. But no, I mean, them rigs are absolutely bang on now. They are placed perfectly. There's fish here. The move is already being justified, even though we haven't caught anything yet. There's obviously fish here. It's out of my hands now. It's over to the carp gods. So all that's left for me to do really is get the kettle on. I didn't like the fact it was squatted down all the time, or
No?
do you want me to do it not squatting?
Well, I didn't mind you squatting.
Does it look daft squatting? And play it back.
No, you didn't look daft.
Good. Is my beard too beardy, or not beardy enough?
Yeah, I think you could go more with the beard.
More beard?
More beard.
I don't know. This is about as much beard as I can handle, really.
It's more like you. It's more beardy than it was this time last year.
I don't.
You have put a bit more length into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I normally shy away from having it this sort of length.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. I think I look too manly, and I think people are quite intimidated by that. Well, last night, if I'm honest, I was more hopeful than I was confident. But tonight, I'd say I'm more expectant. There's so many fish up here. I've probably counted when I've been out in the boat over 20 fish, which is a high percentage of the stock of the lake. And the rigs themselves, I mean, I couldn't have put them there any better if I'd have gone out in the boat and dropped them in by hand, which is exactly what I did. They are absolutely perfect. They are bang on the money on really nice spots. So if it doesn't happen, then I'm out of ideas and it's a fail and I'll have to deal with it. But let's hope that doesn't happen. Looks like my instinct was right. I've only been in my sleeping bag half an hour since I last spoke to you. And here we are. It's weighted me solid, which I kind of expected. Right, I need to get a float.
Alright?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Cheers, bro. Here we go. The fish is well and truly lodged in the weed. I'm kind of Just using that fish as an anchor at the moment. I'm just winching myself towards him. The wind's taking me way off course. I'm gonna have to just let the line go slack here and just paddle towards him because I'm going way off course. Oh no. There. I can't believe it. I was not expecting that. It's just there on the surface. I thought it was just where the line was entering the water. I didn't realise that's what the fish was. Oh, every time I push against the net, I push myself farther away from the fish. I have to put the rod down and paddle and just try and scoop and paddle at the same time. I haven't even got hold of the rod now. It really is a two-man job, this. Right. Oh dear. The fish is just there, he's just under the surface. Get in, get in, get in! Oh, yes! Well, somewhere in all that weed, inside the net, is a fish. I have no idea how big he is, but he's in there. Unbelievable. Right, let's try and get back ashore and take a closer look at him. Scales are zeroed. This is the moment of truth. We need a 25 pounder, or we need two 25 pounders, but we need one to get us rolling. He looks a very solid fish, as there should be at this time of year. Yeah. Yeah. $27.8. Boom! Yes, that's what we needed. Look at that. Yeah. That's a yeah. It's like getting a big high five or something. I feel like high-fiving everyone right now. There he is. £27, 8 ounces. Proper solid fish, this one. When I first saw it come up on the surface, I didn't think it was that big. I don't really know why. I must have been half asleep still. That's a proper chunk. And the night is young. There's time for more. There is time for more. And I'm expecting more. I really am. I shouldn't have said that, should I?
No, you shouldn't. But you have.
Yes! I've just tied up a new rig, ready to get back out there, and it's a rig you'll see me using time and time again. It's my favoured hinge stiff rig. Although recently I have made a few modifications. The stiff section has now been tied with doubled over 25 pound rigidity. It's tied in the same way as a multi-rig. Personally, when it comes to this stiff section, I believe the stiffer the better. I think it
dramatically improves the hooking properties of the rig. I think if a fish sucks in that hook bait, the stiffness, I think it has such a hard time dealing with, and it just catches a hold every time. The hook I'm using is the new Edges straight point stiff rig hook. It's a very strong hook, obviously ideal in weedy situations like we're fishing here, but it is without a doubt the sharpest hook I have ever used. Even just sort of laying it across my fingers, it is sticky sharp. I mean, just resting on my finger there, it's well and truly stuck in there. And coupled with that doubled over stiff section and this ultra sharp hook, I think it's a devastating setup.
From a deep sleep in a heartbeat, every morning works out the same. Through a dull haze, I feel the days wake. If I use all my strength, I can take care. All those night times, I follow straight lines, leading to the same dark place. Every exit goes the same way. I'm gone in a flash, and believe me, dreams they pass along.
Well, good morning. It's been a fairly quiet night, actually, other than a swan which swam through my lines early hours of the morning, completely wiped out my rod, dragged it into Wade, and I had to take to the boat and sort all that mess out, which I could have done without. But other than that, nothing to report. Harry's just nipped off for a call of nature, and at this point I feel I really ought to say that last time round, when he failed that tea drinking challenge, I really did feel sorry for Harry. That was his one chance to prove himself as a true carp angler, not just a match angler, he's more than that. That was his one chance to prove his carpiness, and he failed miserably. And I feel it's my duty as a friend to give him a bit of a lift and give him a bit of a pick-me-up and prove just how carpy he can be. And we all know that by spray painting stuff, that instantly makes anything carpy, really. So while he's away, I think we can perhaps give him a little bit of a carpification, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Funny enough, I've got here a few spray paints. there's his brolly. So yeah, let's give him a bit of a boost. Now, this isn't something I'm an expert in, to be honest. I don't really know what I'm doing. Probably just going to close my eyes and hope for the best. I think that's the best option here. Right. What do we do? Oh, that's good. No, it doesn't look a bit of a mess. This is meant to be green, it looks more blue. We'll blend in with the sky, I suppose. Maybe I'll just do half of it. That'll be a bit random, won't it? Alright, it's enough of the blue-green. Forgot now. Espresso! Why not? Oh yeah, that's it. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted. I never knew it was so artistic. That looks so good. Bit of black, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it needs that. I'm actually quite jealous. Wow. Well, I think that looks freaking amazing. I'm sure Harry will agree. We'll just have to wait and find out. Hide these, actually. Hide these up the way.
What's happened to my booty?
You're welcome. How awesome
What?
does that look?
Why have you done that?
Why have I done that?
What
Looks amazing.
What have you done?
It's I felt it was my duty as your friend to give you a step up on the carpy ladder after your failings of the tea drinking talents, and this is my gift to you. A
It
gift.
looks terrible.
It looks
It looks
amazing.
absolutely. I'm actually lost. What?
Well,
Why?
I've already done half
What?
of it, so if you don't like
I
it, just
I
turn
did
it.
notice that,
You
yeah.
can turn it round if you don't like it, and then no one will know.
If I wanted a camo bivvy, I could have got one.
Yeah, but
I-
they don't do a half and half camo like that. The best of both worlds. It's camo when you need it, and it isn't when you don't.
I can't believe you've done that.
Yeah, it's honestly, mate, it was my pleasure. I just purely went with my instinct, closed my eyes more or less, and just thought, let my creativeness flow, and it did. I feel it's a reflection of my inner carpiness basically being released onto your bivvy.
You just ruined my bivvy.
I don't see it as ruined. Yeah,
It's
you haven't really give it the full going over. You've only looked at it from one angle.
the other angle. It looks fine.
Well, maybe you need to look at it from that angle. Well, I like it. Oh well. Have a cup of tea. Big swig. Betty, what have you done to me? Well, there's just a few hours of this session remaining now, and I've just been for a walk around the lake. I left Harry in charge of the rods, and I checked out a few other areas, but I've not seen signs of carp anywhere other than where I'm fishing right now. I've just been over on the far margin where I've got one of my rods positioned, and I did see two groups of fish there, as well as a few other individual fish. In one of them groups there was two fish, certainly in excess of 35 pounds, along with several fish between 25 and 30 pound. So the fish are here, there's no doubt about it. I am in the right location. I mean, this is a low stock big fish water. It's not like Newlands where we started, where chopping and changing tactics brought about a quick response and a quick bite. Doing something like that on here would have a negative effect. I mean, the more disturbance I do to this swim, the worse off I'm going to be. Those rods, those baits are absolutely bang on the money. They're on prime spots that I'm confident the fish are visiting and feeding on, and it's just a matter of being patient and sitting on my hands. If them fish do pass by and tip down and have a feed, then the rigs are all sat and presented perfectly, and they'll do the job, and that'll be that. But I've just got to be patient. It may happen, it may not, I don't know. All I can do between now and the end of the session is just keep my fingers crossed and drink as much tea as my bladder can handle. Now I know just a few moments ago I kind of explained the importance of being patient and not disturbing the swim and just sitting on my hands and doing nothing. What I've done, I've just reeled in all the rods and I've seen a group of fish, well, the same group of fish swimming around in a clear patch right in front of the one that swims on the opposite bank, and they're all swimming around 18 inches under the surface. So this really is last chance saloon. I'm going to go around there with one rod, fish it on a little red and black zigger liner, present it right in the face, and hopefully one of them will just have a snap at it, and that'll be it. Job done, almost. I wouldn't bother filming it, Harry.
Why not?
It's not going to happen.
Nothing like a bit of confidence.
You just wasted your time. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. The rod's been in the water less than a minute. It's been in the water less than a minute. And it just goes to show the importance of bringing the changes that I was talking about earlier. I'm gonna have to get wet here, I think. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm pretty sure it's off.
Don't give it any more and just go and get the boat.
It's slacking right off. I don't even know if the fish is still on. I'm not going to be able to land it. Oh, he's still on. Right, the fish is still on, that's for sure. The line's pulling tight. Right. Need to go back to swim, get the boat, come out, get over the top of it. Right, hopefully we can rescue this. Well, Harry's just holding the rod. The main problem seems to be just here. This is where the line's gone under the bulk of this dead weed. Oh, I can just free it from this area, then we should be in business. This is the worst part. Apologies if my anus is on show. There's not much I can do. God, what the hell is that? Oh, it's a piece of rope. It's a bit of rope or something. Cheers, mate. You pass me that.
Right, back one's on.
Now he's just bobbing around in this clear area in front of me. Only problem is now he's had quite a long time to be able to sit there and shake that hook and try and free itself. It's just what it's done to that hook hold that is concerning me now. Oh, I'm going out one way, but now he's in another. There's not a lot I can do about it. No. Oh, he's off. I literally have no words. I have no words. I'm absolutely gutted. What's worse is I saw the fish as well. It was a 25 plus. Right, time to call it a day, innit? I don't know what me to say. I just that is the worry when they've been sat there in the weed, just shaking the head, trying to work that hook free.
I mean, I wasn't long in getting in the boat. It wasn't long at all, really. I was on it quite quickly. The fish was still on, but you know, it's obviously been sat there working the hook hold loose. Oh, I'm absolutely gutted. So close, so close. So, had that fish have got in the net, we'd now be loading the van on our way to Newlands, chucking PVA bags tight to the island, and I dare say there's a good chance it would have been wrapped up, job done, but it's not, is it? It's there's about an hour and a half left. By the time we get sorted, this area's knackered now. That's it. They're not coming back here in a hurry. That is it. That's game over. So I guess all that's left for me to say is thanks a bunch, Henrik Johnson, for your challenge suggestion. You win this one. Challenge failed.
If you'd like to watch more of my challenge videos, then click the link here. Or if you'd like to subscribe to Fox Fishing TV, then click the link here.
That was good.